Hello class, my name is Ronnie Reel and this is my presentation on enhancing global cybersecurity, the role of international cooperation in combating cyberterrorism. Around the globe, breaches happen every day. They pose lucrative opportunities for bad actors to capitalize on. Cybercrime and cyberterrorism are not the same. Cybercrime risks and rewards aren't as dire as cyberterrorism is, typically resulting in money, infamy, or information leading to money or infamy. Cyberterrorism is much more sinister, resulting in destruction, chaos, and fear. Cyberterrorism is just terrorism. Worldwide organizations and alleged countries have sought to fight cyberterrorism. So, how does international cooperation enhance the effectiveness of global efforts in combating cyberterrorism, and what challenges do nations face in this collaborative endeavor? Well, what is cyberterrorism? It's terrorism, simply shrouded in the digital space. It is rooted in political advances outside of the lawful paths, in extremism for malicious campaigns. Terrorists are defined by who your opponents are. To one actor, an enemy is a terrorist, while the terrorist is labeled an honorable defender for their allies. Ukraine's 2017 NotPetya attacks are an example of a first world military using cyberterrorism. NotPetya targeted Ukraine's government systems, facilities, and parts of their private sector. Russia is the primary culprit for that attack. Plausible deniability drives cyberterrorism and is an alluring aspect for countries and groups. International cooperation drives international security. Worldwide campaigns through the United Nations, NATO, and various other organizations have some of the most successful campaigns, bolstering cyber defenses in the Middle East, Asia Pacific, and many other corners of the world. War has changed. We find ourselves in an age where two groups can enact war against one another and not be held accountable for any of it. Cyberterrorism is cyber warfare in action. Countries hire hacking groups to deploy their hacks on their behalf and negate any responsibilities. Allies find strength in shared enemies and similar motivations. Compliance is secondary given the degree of activity happening on the cyber front. The United Nations has practiced some of the most successful defensive campaigns to date. The United Nations provides typical West power to smaller nations who lack the resources or manpower to match their adversaries. The FBI is another successful organization from the West. While the FBI is based in the United States, its jurisdictions know no bounds. Its advanced methods and direct legal support from the Department of Justice has allowed the organization to hunt foreign terrorists on their own soil. NATO has been in the works since the Cold War, and while it has extended much past what it was initially promised to fight, NATO has deep pockets, most notably in the United States and the European Union, able to pull from some of the most powerful militaries in the world at a moment's notice in response to cyber attacks. NATO's combined effort has enabled it to develop and analyze malwares and cyber attacks, not to mention allowing countries to have bases closer to their adversaries and deploy these attacks or defend them. Nations share and should continue to share intelligence with one another to enable swift and informed reactions. Worldwide open source organizations provide buses of information which these nations share this information. Countries have different ideas on legalities surrounding cyber warfare and cyber terrorism. States cannot become selfish in this endeavor and must account for globalization, as well as tech giants in pursuit of wealth. I'd like to highlight a recent legal case, Macquarie Infrastructure Corp versus Moab Partners LP, as a modern example. The background of this case involves a company called Macquarie Infrastructure Corporation, which didn't meet its financial goals and saw its stock price fall after announcing that less of its storage space was being used. A group of investors felt the company should have warned them about risks and upcoming regulations that could affect its business. They sued, claiming the company misled them by not sharing these risks. This does not have direct cyber implications, but does extend to cyber risks and doesn't require companies to disclose those risks. In Europe, the opposite is the default. So, open source is collaboratively developed across the world. It raises one another to the technical level not able to be achieved on one's own. Kali Linux is an ideal piece of technology to showcase this effort. Kali Linux is the flagship operating system for hacking, which is openly developed and freely distributed worldwide. The beauty of Kali Linux is that it is built on top of thousands of other softwares with the same model. This open source initiative represents this technical collaboration. Another global organization is ISA, Information Security uh, Association, which operates worldwide, and they offer certifications and training for cybersecurity. Different countries have different laws about privacy, data protection, and cybercrime. Countries may disagree on what is legal or not. Each country has its own rules for how the internet and technology companies should operate. This could cause issues in scenarios where multiple countries are affected by an attack. Countries have different political motivations which influence how they respond or prevent cyber attacks. Money isn't always a consideration, or money is always a consideration. If an effort costs more than the perceived gain, then a country will not contribute to the global cybersecurity initiative. Cyber actors have personal interests which may not align with the global cybersecurity needs, which does not help tensions between national security interest and the needs of global cybersecurity. The rise of AI, social engineering, the rise of AI and social engineering as a Venn diagram. AI and social engineering can be combined to do supercharged social engineering attacks and can be very targeted towards users and individuals, taking note on their online profiles and presences. Quantum computing is also a future cybersecurity opportunity where it's promising unhackable systems. A recent culture change in software development is memory safety standards. The rise of memory safety programming has potential to eliminate a lot of exploits, which is now becoming the standard of which large tech giants like Google and Microsoft are capitalizing on and using to prevent future losses. And of course, AI. AI is being integrated into cybersecurity tools, supercharging them and automating the technical aspects, making hacking much more accessible, which may bridge the skills gap that we are seeing today. So, how does international cooperation enhance the effectiveness of global efforts in combating cyber terrorism, and what challenges do nations face in this collaborative endeavor? Well, countries can share intelligence about potential threats and effective defense strategies. Collaborative efforts can lead to the development of international standards. Cooperation allows for pooling of resources, especially benefiting nations that lack the ability to deal with cyber threats. Working together, they can improve legalities surrounding cyber terrorism and create a unified legal framework. Combined efforts can respond faster with assistance to nations under cyber attack. Although several challenges are faced, different laws and regulations, countries use different legal frameworks. Trust issues, nations might be hesitant to share information if they believe it may be used against them. Countries with more resources may bear more of the burdens. Geopolitical tensions can hinder cooperation as nations have different interests and motivations at any given time. Information sharing may require sharing private information which violates data protection laws, whose jurisdiction is standard for issues spanning borders. In conclusion, while international cooperation is key to combating cyber terrorism effectively, Overcoming these challenges requires a sustained effort to build trust, harmonize legal frameworks, and balance resources and capabilities among nations. Thank you.